Hey y'all, I'm going hunting. Ready to go. I got my bear. I got my Daisy pellet gun. Wanna know what I'm going hunting for? Whatever I see. I'm gonna just go whatever I see, I'm gonna shoot. That's all. Whatever I see, I'm gonna get them. Come on, let's go. You see why that would be a bad idea? Now listen, you wouldn't go to the grocery store without a list. Otherwise you'd come in with like 3 jars of mayonnaise when you only needed 1. And you wouldn't go on a trip without planning where you're gonna go. It wouldn't be like, hey, where are you going? I'm just gonna go to the airport, wherever the plane takes me, I'm just gonna go there. Well, that'd be great if you packed for the Bahamas and you ended up in Alaska. So why would you not target your fish? Let's go. So this video starts all the way back at the beginning. It's at the rec center on Oak Island. And if you've never been to the rec center on Oak Island, well, that's where we hold our fishing class. So how about that? So when you walk into the rec center, you got these lovely doors. You can get t-shirts on the right. They talk about the turtles. And there's Hannah. She's going to wave to me, but she's being shy. I'll give you a little tour around. Hey, here's the gym. If you've never been in, they got a really nice fitness center. And for like $20 a month, if you're a resident, I think, you can lift all these heavy weights. And not only can you lift the heavy weights, but they got some bikes and some ellipticals or whatever, the treadmill things, so you can go like sweat in there. But they also have lots of rooms. They do yoga and they do all kinds of classes, including the Oak Island surf fishing class, which is this right here. Now, here I am teaching the first one of this summer, the May class, if you will, and we're going to have one each month. So there's a June, a July, and we're going to go all the way through to November. So if you would like to sign up for class, go to the Oak Island. You can just Google Oak Island Rec Center, and Dutchman's Creek has actually sponsored us, which is great. And this is what they gave as a goodie basket. They gave a little bait basket, which is really nice. They gave this Dutchman's Creek tide chart. They gave a little bait cutting knife, and they gave a bunch of rigs as well. I mean, they went over and above. I'm telling you, if you're going to support somebody on the island, support Dutchman's Creek, because they are definitely supporting the surf fishing community, which I really appreciate. And what I'm really excited about is this is a nice flounder rig, but the next one that comes out, this little shad lure they gave, I'm going to go after some blues with that. So that was cool. So the second part of the class, after we do the in-class, is we go actually fishing the next day. And it's not about really catching fish, but it's just about learning how to catch fish in the surf. Like, there's a lot of little nuances of being in surf fishing that's so much different than boat or pier fishing. And everybody caught some fish, even if they were small, and you can see those fish can be slippery. I tell you guys, they're slippery. The little silver perch right here. But everyone kind of caught a couple of little fish, got the hang of it, understood about the lures and everything. But one of the things that I talked to someone about, I've heard this before, is they said, I don't target my fish. I just fish for whatever I'm going to catch. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of makes sense when you first think about it. I'm going to go down and just catch whatever I'm going to catch. But targeting your fish is going to help you catch more fish. Now, this is Nicholas, and he knows about targeting fish. So let's start with kingfish. If you want to target kingfish, aka whiting, aka Virginia mullet, you're going to want to use a double drop rig with a 1/0 hook. And you're going to want to use shrimp or yabbies or sand fleas. And these guys were helping me catch some yabbies, right? They had the yabby pup. They were helping me catch them. Now that's a double drop rig with a 1/0 hook. And here's how you catch sand fleas. Look for the area in the sand that looks bumpy, especially if you look at the light and it looks shiny. And then if you run down there, and I really wish I had a sand flea, instead of using my hands, a sand flea catcher thingamabobby. But look, I got a sand flea right here. Let me show you how to hook the sand flea. I like to hook the sand flea through the top because there's a flap underneath, and if you look under the flap, that's where the eggs are. Now, mullet and pompano love those eggs. And you can see, if you take the hook and you stick it in the top, and then you turn it over, you can make the top of the hook come out right where the flappy thing is, right where the eggs are. So when they go for the eggs, they're going to get the flappy thing. That's how you target mullet, and that's how you target pompano. And you know what? Croaker aren't going to be very interested in sand fleas. Now this got bit off. When it happens like that, they leave the shell, throw it away, and go get yourself another one. But I wanted to target bluefish this week. Now, bluefish are much more interested in different bait, and you need a different rig. Now, a 1/0 hook can work, but up to a 3/0 circle hook can work, or a Carolina rig with even a 5/0 hook can work. And that's what I had right here, and I was going to use some cut bait. By the way, you can throw lures like that one Dutchman's Creek gave us, but I'm going to throw that bait. Okay, so here you go. I got the mullet on the sand flea. So this is fresh mullet, a fresh Virginia mullet. And I got a 5/0 hook, and I'm going to take my miracle thread, and I'm going to wrap it around. Now, how much different is this than the little sand flea on the 1/0 hook that I was targeting the mullet? I'm not going to catch a bluefish on a sand flea with a 1/0 hook. However, I might catch a bluefish with a piece of mullet on a 3/0 or 5/0 hook. So I'm wrapping this guy up, and you can see I got this fresh piece of mullet, and I cast it out, and lo and behold, I get a hit. Now I know this is not going to be a pompano, because I'm not going to get a pompano on a 5/0 hook. So I'm targeting my species. I'm setting up my rig, and I'm setting up my bait to catch bluefish. And lo and behold, I got one here. And this is about a 12 or 13 inch bluefish. Now that's pretty small, but in the summer, that's about the size they are. So here you go, nice bluefish, not as slippery as mullet. I can hold on to them. Pretty proud of myself. And they got some sharp teeth, so you do want to keep away from the business end there, because they can put a bite on hurting on you. Now, here's another one. I threw out another piece of mullet, and I thought about it, and I was going to put it back in the rod holder, and all of a sudden I was like, no, I felt a nibble, and boom, there he was. And I was so stoked, because you know, when this is a Penn Prevail, and this is a fast action rod, which means it doesn't have a lot of give to it. And when your rod bends like that with a fast action rod, you know you probably got a good fish. But this was a smart fish, and he turned and he started swimming towards the shore, and he shook himself loose. And at that point right there, I knew I had just lost it. These ladies were like, don't worry about it. That guy down there wasn't catching any fish either. And I'm like, I'm catching them. I'm just not landing them. Another thing you can do for bluefish is use finger mullet. Or in this case, I got a mud minnow, and I got a little pinfish, and live bait works really great. So yeah, I got the smaller hooks, but I got the live bait, so I know I can catch a bluefish with it. I like to put the bait fish through the tail. Some people put it through the nose, but whenever I've used it through the nose, I kind of wind up with the bluefish will hit the tail, and sometimes I'll just get a piece of fish with a head on it. Now I got this fish, and I started reeling him in, and I really thought it was a bluefish at first, and then I realized he was laying down. Now look, you see that right there? See how I'm just pulling that, and like I got a big piece of seaweed or something on there. When they do that, it's a ray, and I knew right away I didn't get a bluefish. So even if you target a species, that doesn't mean you're going to get that species. Sometimes you're going to get another fish. That's just the way it is. But at least you're trying to get the fish you're trying to get. So yeah, I got a ray, and I got the pliers, and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to flip this guy over, and I'll show you how I throw these back. They got a barb on the tail, and you really just don't want to get hit with it. You can see I'm a little afraid of it. But I'll grab that with the pliers, and I'll just carry him back to the water. So here you go. There's the business end. Look at that thing. That's like 3 or 4 inches. That could stab you right in the leg. So I let him go. Let him swim away. One of these days I'm gonna catch one of those, and I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna show you a cooking segment on it. Let me go on to the next one. Here's another target species, black drum, which is one of my favorite fish to catch, and they love fiddler crabs. So I get out my fiddler crabs. I do the 1/0 hook. You can do a 3/0 hook. With the 1/0 hook on a Carolina rig, with the fiddler crabs, you can do shrimp, but the fiddler crabs they love, and nothing else is going to eat the fiddler crabs. Bluefish aren't going to go after them, so I know I'm targeting the black drum. So here you go. I got 2 little fiddler crabs on there on the little pink rod, my favorite little rod. You can make fun of it all you want, but wait a second. Now, here's the problem. I thought my camera was on and it was off. So when I went down to get the rod, I saw I got a hit. I didn't realize it was on, and I pressed the button and I turned it off. So you're not going to see me reeling this fish, but it turned out to be a 19-inch black drum, which I do have a picture of, so I can prove it. And I did take this 19-inch black drum home for dinner. So here we go, the toadfish fillet knife. I'm sorry, Kim. Chef Kim's not here tonight. It's me. She's sitting on the couch watching, I don't know, 90 Day Fiance or something. So I told her I'd cook dinner. But this is the toadfish board, and they're not a sponsor, but I just love this knife. Nice, keep it nice and sharp. The sharpener is right on the board. I just go right down the back. Got big scales, but once you get past the scales, you can just cut the meat. And I'll cut across the bone on the ribs, like once, twice here. Watch me do it like that. And I just want to be above the ribs and kind of just get that fillet off in just one nice big chunky piece without the bones in it. That's my whole aim right there. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get another piece on the other side, and then I'm going to save that piece of fish in the middle for crab bait later on. So maybe I'll get some crabs, and I can use those crabs to target bonnet head or another black drum. Cut the skin off just like that, nice and sharp knife again, and take that skin, throw it away, and I got 2 beautiful fillets. Now I'm going to make a nice rice and kale dish to go underneath our black drum, so I'm just peeling off the leaf from the stems on the kale. I pour rice into the pot, and I'm going to add some, I'm going to get fancy here, saffron. So if you can get some saffron, it's kind of cool, nice little red flavored Indian type of thing. Throw that in there. And then I'm going to probably get a little bit of salt, because salt's always good. And throw a little, I have Himalayan sea salt, and I'm going to throw just a little bit of water. I'm going to let that boil. Here's the salt. I'm going to let that boil, and once it comes to a boil, then I'm going to put the kale in that pot. So right now it's boiling. I'm just going to put all the kale in there, and I'm going to put the top on it and let it sit for like 15 minutes. So that's good to go. Put my kale on top, and in 15 minutes, that's going to be a nice bottom dish for this black drum. Here's my seasoning. I like that red magic seasoning with some flour. This is actually rice flour. Again, salt and pepper on both sides of my fillet. So I'm going to flip it over. You saw me throw some salt on it right there. I'm about to throw some pepper on top of that. So I got the flour, the red magic seasoning, salt and pepper, and just making sure that the fish is totally covered in just a light breading, and then I'm good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my frying pan, and I'm going to drop some olive oil in it. Here we go. There it is. A little bit of olive oil in it. I got some low heat going. You can see the kale still cooking in the background. So I got my olive oil. Give it a minute just to heat up. And once it's heated up, I'm just going to drop my fillets in there with the breading on top. And I'm just going to let them sit. So like maybe 3 minutes on each side. That's probably all you need. 3-4 minutes tops. So they got 3 minutes. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to give it another 3 minutes on that side. And that's really about all it's going to take. And the fish is going to be cooked, and this fish is going to be so tender and delicious. I love black drum. My wife loves it too. Hey, they eat crabs. They got to taste good. I like crabs, and black drum like crabs. All right, so I'm going to get that out of there. Now, my frying pan still has the fish in there. Now, this is the fun part. I'm going to leave that in there, right? I'm going to grab some lemon, fresh lemon. I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice in there. I'm going to do 2 halves of the lemon. I had the whole lemon. I got 2 pieces in there. Squeeze that in there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of butter, just a little tablespoon of butter here. I'm going to pop that in there. And like, this is a low heat, so it's not really burning, but you can see it's cooking real good. The oil, you got the fish that was in there, and now the butter in there. And I'm just going to push that around a little bit. And then I'm going to turn off the heat. The butter's going to melt, and that's going to make my lemon butter sauce. And I'm going to put that on top of the fish in a minute. So I'm just going to let that sit, and we're good to go on that. And now let's start plating, okay? This is done. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, but this is crema. It's pre-made, but you can just do this sour cream, mayonnaise, and a little lime crema. I put that in there on top of the kale, and I'm just going to mix it up, get that rice off of the bottom, and that's good to go. I'm going to plate that after the steam goes away. I just plate that, and now I take my black drum, already cooked. I had put it on the side, nice big pieces. Kim got the nice piece. My piece broke, but that's okay. It's still going to taste good. Now I grab that butter and lemon sauce that we made. I pour that on top. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. I got a little red pepper flake on mine. Put the lemon on the side, and we're good to go. Target your fish.